We begin with breaking news tonight. Police searching for a baby who was taken while inside his father's car.
This is 8-month-old King J. Davila. He was last seen on the 300 block of Enrique Barrera Parkway near Southwest 34th Street. The night team's Japhanie Gray just spoke with police and joins us live with the latest. Japhanie?
Yes, guys, it all happened at this gas station. Now, San Antonio police say a man with his 8-month-old son, King J. Davila, pulled into this Exxon next to a pump. Now, he said he got out of the vehicle and went inside the station, leaving his son in the car with the keys in the ignition and the door open. That's when video shows a woman in a gray hoodie walks onto the parking lot of the gas station, gets in the car and takes off. Now, after interviewing this man, he says that he passed her walking or coming into the gas station beforehand. Now, officers later located that car down the road, but the woman, keys, the baby, and the car seat were missing. The man contacted police, but after interviewing him, they say something is very, very suspicious.
We have the father down at headquarters right now, and his story is not adding up. We believe right now that he knows the woman who took the baby. We believe that this was set up, but nonetheless, we still have a missing 8-month-old. The mother of the child is very, very distraught.
Now, again, Chief McManus said that in their opinion, they believe that this man does know the woman accused of kidnapping the 8-month-old. Again, that man told police that as he was driving along the roadway, this woman was walking and he passed her. Now, they say that he will be staying in custody on child endangerment charges. Police are treating this incident as a very serious matter and are asking anyone out there who has any information to call 911 immediately. Again, the baby's name is King J. Davila, and he was last seen in a blue onesie, and he had a scratch on his left eye due to a fingernail. Again, if you know any information on where this baby is located, call 911 immediately.
They have another video of her carrying the car seat. It looked like a bus stop where she's walking. There's palm trees.
The mother of 8-month-old King J. Davila describes the video she sees to her fiancé, KRIS Davila, who is still in custody for child endangerment. He was arrested after their son was kidnapped.
I'm going crazy.
We were there when Jasmine Gonzalez watched the San Antonio Police news conference.
Hope that the father will start to be cooperative and the family members will help us in this. But right now, they're uncooperative.
Uncooperative? How we're not being uncooperative? No, you're not even calling us or telling us anything. I've been calling to find out updates. That's bullshit.
She says she was on the phone with Davila moments before a woman walked to his car at a gas station pump and drove off with King J in the back seat.
Yeah, he made a mistake. He made a mistake for leaving the baby inside the car. We admit that was wrong. And he freaked out. He was panicking. I was like, you know what? Hang up. Call the cops. That's the first thing he did. He did.
It's not right. You know, since day one, they've just been doing the same thing, not getting anywhere, and their focus is somewhere else. And they just need to focus all their information on where the car was located at.
Police believe Davila knew the woman who took their son, but both he and Gonzalez deny it.
Who is that chick? Why did she go ahead and go inside a vehicle? Obviously, she was watching. It's not that they were interacting. She was watching, basically, to see if there was a car on, and she went straight in.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Well, as the search moves into another night, we are learning more about those involved in the boy's life leading up to his disappearance. Eyewitness News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry joins us live from where it all began. Jaleesa?
Yeah, there is no doubt that everyone wants the same possible outcome, to find baby King J safe and sound. But this investigation has brought more questions than answers for many people out here. And a lot of those questions are focused on the family and the efforts behind the search. What began Friday night here at Friends Food Mart is what police are still trying to piece together. A car was taken. It was later found, but a baby remains missing.
This is my son. This is my baby. He needs to come home.
On Sunday, Baby King's mom, Jasmine Gonzalez, canvassed Rodriguez Park and discovered this, a baby bottle she believes is her son's.
We're doing tests on that to see if there's any forensic evidence that would connect the bottle with the baby.
Police followed up with their own search, but came up with nothing. Now many are wondering why police didn't take the search national and put out an Amber Alert.
The criteria for an Amber Alert was not met.
Each state has its own criteria on when to issue an Amber Alert. In Texas, law enforcement must answer a number of questions first, including, is the child in immediate danger? Has a preliminary investigation verified the abduction and eliminated alternative explanations for the child's disappearance? And is enough information available to be released to the public to help locate the child, a suspect description, or the vehicle used in the abduction? Many have also questioned King's father, Christopher Davila's background. Davila was arrested after police say he left his son in the car unattended. Davila is out on bond but faces a child endangerment charge. His criminal history also includes multiple drug charges, an aggravated robbery charge, as well as assault causing bodily injury.
I know he has nothing to do with it.
On Sunday, Baby King's mom defended Davila, saying no matter his criminal history, he had nothing to do with their son's disappearance.
He loves his kids. He loves his kids for sure.
Now, we did reach out to Jasmine Gonzalez again today for an interview. She told us she was unable to do an interview because she was at police headquarters. Now, even though an Amber Alert was not issued, the FBI is still involved in this case. We're live on the city's west side. Jaleesa Irizarry, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
As you know, there's an 8-month-old little boy that's still missing from last night, King J. Davila. He was taken from the parking lot in the gas station where we gave our briefing last night. So as you can see from her walking up, there is no hesitation, no looking around, no wondering if she's going to get in this car or not. She knows where she's going and what she's doing. And this was just seconds after the father, Christopher Davila, left the vehicle. If anyone recognizes this person, please call us and let us know. Yeah, this was after the car was parked at Omer and Enrique Barrera Parkway. The woman exited the vehicle with that car seat, unknown if the baby's in there or not, but it's covered up with a blanket. This was after the car was taken from the gas station.
And she ditched the vehicle?
Pardon?
And she ditched the car?
The car was in the parking lot. I don't know that it was ditched, but it was left in the parking lot.
Chief, you said that it looks like she knew exactly what she was doing. Is there reason to believe that she may have been working with the father?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
But the family is trying to deny that, right?
The family is not cooperating, as is the father, Christopher Davila, not cooperating. We've followed up on several leads as to who we think this person is, but we've not been successful yet in identifying her. So that's why we're asking if anyone out there recognizes that person, please call us and let us know the identity of her.
Developing tonight, it has been more than 96 hours since baby King Davila was reported missing. And the 8-month-old boy still has not been found. New tonight, though, video of a cadaver dog searching a property on the city's west side.
San Antonio police say that property belongs to relatives of baby King's father, but police say the search near Fortuna and Parkside Drive turned up nothing. But there has been a major development today that could lead to more answers. The woman seen in that surveillance video taking off in the car on Friday was arrested on an unrelated charge.
The Night Team's Japhanie Gray joins us live from police headquarters with the latest on what police are calling a cover-up. Japhanie?
Yes, guys, police say that this kidnapping was staged in an attempt to cover up foul play. Now, baby King was reported kidnapped Friday night. Police said that KRIS Davila, the baby's father, drove to a West Side convenience store and left his car running with the driver's side door unlocked. A woman is seen on surveillance video getting into his car and driving off shortly after. The same woman, who police now say is Davila's cousin, is seen walking down the street with a baby carrier. Police said on Friday Davila's story didn't add up that night, and tonight they're standing by that theory.
You know, the father spoke with the media from jail, and he spent more time speaking with the media, answering media questions, than he spent with us or answering our questions.
Their focus is somewhere else, and They just need to focus all their information on where the car was located at.
KRIS Davila has been charged with child endangerment but has since bonded out. But police also revealed today someone picked up that woman near the crime scene that police say was staged. Now, San Antonio police say they're doing everything they can to find baby King J. They're even working with the FBI, but again, they still need your help. If you have any information about King J's disappearance, you're urged to call them immediately.
Good evening. We're following breaking news, a tragic turn in the case of a missing 8-month-old baby. Police now say they believe baby King J. Davila is dead. They have 3 family members in custody facing charges tonight. That includes the baby's father, this man, Christopher Davila. Police say they believe he severely injured the infant somehow, then helped to stage that kidnapping to cover it up.
This case is unraveling thread by thread.
However, the mysterious part, police still have not found the baby. We're bringing you live team coverage of this breaking news story tonight, and we'll begin with Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante. And Roxy, you've been covering this story for some time now. Have you heard from the child's mother?
Yes, I was on the phone with her earlier tonight. She broke down in tears, asking why would someone do this to her baby. Now, police say she is under investigation, but she has not been charged. The person talking to police, though, the cousin who claims the grandmother told her that Christopher Davila hurt the baby very badly, and that's why they were all part of a scheme to cover it up. Now, police believe that the grandmother was the one who dropped off the cousin Angie Torres at the gas station last Friday, where she took off with the car. Torres later ditching that car near Rodriguez Park, but police believe King J. Davila was never in the car, but they still cannot confirm where the baby was last seen. Now, Christopher Davila was charged with child endangerment and later released out on bond. Tonight, he was arrested again, charged for tampering with evidence, along with his cousin Angie Torres and his mother, who is not pictured here. They are still being questioned by police, but meanwhile, a house on Parkside Drive, known to be one of the family's homes, was searched by undercover cops tonight. The heartbreaking news, though, police believe King J. Davila is dead, and they are now searching for his body.
We will not be satisfied until we've located King J. Our focus will remain on finding him, and I will again tell anyone who has information that your time is running out.
McManus also said anyone withholding information could also be facing charges. I'll turn it now to Henry Ramos, who is working on the continued search. Henry.
Well, Roxy, Chief McManus making it very clear on that the time is running out. He also said, as you mentioned, that if you have lied to police in this case, then you will be facing charges. But again, the focus remains on finding baby King. Investigators have not stopped since last Friday. The chief revealing tonight that they do have some new locations to search for baby King, but will not reveal where. McManus says they want to find him because they want to seek justice. Well, tomorrow night, there is a community prayer gathering for baby King. Last Chance Ministries pastor Jimmy Robles invites everyone to come. He says it doesn't matter your race or religion.
You know, he's out there somewhere, and the more awareness, the more people know about King J's whereabouts. You know, if this is what it takes to bring together hundreds of people to just lift them up in prayer.
The question has not changed, but the details surrounding it have. Police still need to answer, where is King J. Davila? The 8-month-old has been missing since Friday, but police say he was not kidnapped after all.
Yeah, they think he was the victim of foul play. They are also revealing more about Davila's father and his cousin, a woman who was thought to be the kidnapper. Jesse DeGoyata reports on what court records are revealing.
Only 34, the tattoo on his face not as prominent as it once was. Christopher Davila already has a gallery of mugshots dating back to 2008, starting with Friday's disappearance of his 8-month-old son.
It's not right.
Despite his denial the next day by phone from the Bexar County Jail, and what San Antonio police now know.
This was not a car theft. This was not a kidnapping. This was a staged event.
His current charge of endangering a child tops Davila's criminal history that includes 6 drug charges from 2008 to 2009, when he was also charged with assault, bodily injury, married, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and aggravated robbery, all within a year's time in 2009. As for the mysterious woman seen driving off in Davila's car with what was believed to be the baby, then later carrying a baby carrier, Angie Torres, 45. She's now accused of trying to rob a Dollar General the next day. Torres is charged with aggravated robbery since she allegedly tried to assault a store clerk. Her criminal history, dating back to 1991, includes charges involving drugs, shoplifting, resisting arrest, burglary, and assault bodily injury. Davila is out on bond. Torres is still here at the Bexar County Jail. Now, if police know what led up to King J. Davila's disappearance, they're not saying, only that the kidnapping hoax was intended to cover up foul play.
Bexar County grand jury hands down indictments to 3 people believed to be involved in the death of baby King J. Davila. Christopher Davila, his mother Beatriz Sampaio, and Angie Torres all face charges now of tampering with evidence. According to the indictment, the 3 concealed the baby's car seat, knowing an investigation was underway to find him. If convicted, they face up to 10 years in prison. Baby King J. Davila's body was found buried in a northwest side field.
Now to new developments in the case of missing baby King J. Davila. San Antonio police announcing tonight they found a potential witness.
Savannah Ozuna was named as a possible witness earlier this evening and may have information related to baby King's case. 3 hours later, police say they've made contact with her.
Earlier this evening, a search warrant was served at a home on the northeast side. This home on Castlebrook Drive listed as the last known address of KRIS Davila, baby King's father. So far, no word on what, if anything, was found inside that home.
Now, this case has continued to develop since it began Friday night, with investigators searching different locations and using several techniques. One of those techniques, the use of a cadaver dog.
The night team's Devin Clark spoke to a volunteer with the group who helped in that search and tells us how the process works.
As a team, we train twice a week, but the handlers are out there, as I said, almost every day training their canine.
Lee Wingert is a public information officer with Alamo Area Search and Rescue, a nonprofit organization made up of about 30 volunteers and about 14 trained dogs, such as German Shepherds, Bloodhounds, and Labradors. The canines are used to provide law enforcement agencies assistance with various types of search and recovery efforts on land and water.
They are thoroughly trained to be able to find a multitude of types of buried victims, if you will.
According to AASR, dogs' sense of smell is about 40 times stronger than humans.
Bodies emit gases, they come up through the earth, and dogs can sense that.
San Antonio police confirmed to KSAT 12 that cadaver dogs were used yesterday to search a Westside property that belongs to relatives of KRIS Davila, the father of an 8-month-old baby, King J. Davila, who disappeared on Friday. Nothing was found on the property. And out here live now on Castlebrook, not far from Mid-Crown Drive, we see a very quiet scene out here, but about 2.5 hours ago, police and detectives were searching that home. They said that they will not be providing any information about that search tonight, but again, they are asking for anyone out there with any information about this case to give them a call.
We begin tonight with a heavy police presence at a park on the city's west side.
Several SAPD officers are at Rodriguez Park near Old Highway 90 and South Callahan Road. That's where we find our Japhanie Gray. Japhanie, what can you tell us about what's going on?
Yes, guys, we have since been relocated to a different location in the park. At first, we were closer to the scene, but right now we're outside the gate. As you can see, there are several crews and resources still going inside of the park as we speak. But again, there's a lot of resources and police being used. I spoke with a family member of King J. Davila. Now, we've been speaking about this case since Friday of what's going on. And again, that family member told me that during their search efforts early this morning, of course, they got together a search team scene with family and friends, and during this morning they found a baby bottle that prompted this major search. Now, right now, they are still combing through the creek, the police officers, agencies combing through the creek woods, and again, after they were notified, as of right now, they say this is just a thorough search as we speak, only a thorough search. But again, details are limited at this time. We're still waiting for an official to get back with us to tell us exactly what's going on today. We just know we have the helicopters in the sky, several agencies here. So again, we're just keeping our eyes peeled right now. But if we have those details, and as soon as they become available, we'll be sure to bring you that as soon as they come up.
New at 6, whether it is spreading the word on social media, handing out flyers, or organizing a vigil, one local woman is doing her part in the search for missing baby King J. Davila.
San Antonio police have now been searching for that child for nearly a week. Bill Barajas spoke to a woman moments ago. And Bill, did she say why she felt compelled to get involved?
Well, there's a number of reasons, but the woman we spoke to says that her family went through a similar incident when her baby brother was kidnapped. Now, he was later returned, but that obviously stuck with her, and that's why she felt she wanted to get involved.
Just reflecting on that and being exposed to this situation, it was hard for me to deal with, and I thought this is something that I can do, is try and bring people together.
Stacy Smith has been putting out vigil flyers and talking to community members. She's also part of a Facebook group called Where is King J. Davila? Members post updates and try to keep each other informed with the latest information from news outlets and police. Baby King has been missing now almost a week. His father, Christopher Davila, alleges he left Baby King in the car with the door unlocked as he went inside a convenience store. Surveillance video then shows a woman walk up to the car and drive away. Police have since arrested Christopher Davila and the woman seen in the video, Angie Torres, Davila's cousin. Davila was charged with child endangerment, and Torres was charged with aggravated robbery in a separate incident. Police are calling this a staged kidnapping. Smith says whatever the case may be, Baby King is still missing, and she won't rest until he's found.
We're all mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents. This baby belongs to this city, and he needs to be returned.
And that vigil that Smith organized will be held here at Monterey Park. She's been handing out these flyers here. The vigil will start at 7. She is asking everyone to wear blue and white, and she expects a big turnout.
Thank you, Marcus. Now to the latest on a case that we've been following closely. A woman who San Antonio police believe played a role in what they call a staged kidnapping of a baby is also accused of victimizing a store clerk. Police announced her arrest yesterday, saying they also had linked her to a robbery. Katrina Weber joins us live from Public Safety Headquarters with details on the robbery. And we understand police have also released her name for the first time this morning.
That's right. They told us that she's 45-year-old Angie Torres. And just a few minutes ago, I was able to obtain a copy of the arrest affidavit. We also have a mugshot of Torres. She has a criminal history, so the mugshot is from 2004. The affidavit says this time Torres is a suspect in the robbery of a West Side Dollar General store, that she went into the Castroville Road location Sunday and took a package of razors without paying. The affidavit says when a clerk tried to stop her, Torres took a swing at her, kicked her, and tried to hit her with a getaway car. Police announced Torres' arrest in that case last night, but they say they've also linked her to the King J. Davila missing baby case. In a news conference, Chief William McManus told reporters that investigators believe Torres is the woman seen in surveillance video last Friday driving off from a gas station in a car that belonged to the baby's father with the 8-month-old still inside. The case at first was handled as a kidnapping, but last night the chief made it clear that they believe this was staged to cover up what he called foul play. King J is still missing. Police say Torres is the cousin of the baby's father. Right now, the only charge against her is connected to the store robbery, but police are still investigating the missing baby case, and it's likely that they will be filing charges connected to that at a later time.
Shocks the conscience to think that someone could do this to an 8-month-old, let alone their own child. And let me stress that this is not the finish line. In fact, the hard part of the investigation is just beginning. And the investigation won't be finished until we can answer how exactly King J died.
A week-long search that captivated our entire city ends in tragedy. The discovery of baby King J's body has brought the search to a close, but the questions have only multiplied. Earlier today, law enforcement officials spoke about finding the remains of the 8-month-old. They addressed portions of what has unfolded over the last week. But here's a look back at all that led up to that discovery. The case began 1 week ago today at Friends Food Mart, where Christopher Davila told police a woman jumped into his car and drove away with baby King J in the back seat. Later that night, police found Davila's car a few blocks away from Rodriguez Park, but baby King J and his car seat were nowhere to be found. On Sunday, volunteers and police started searching in Rodriguez Park and discovered no trace of the baby. 3 days later, Davila's cousin, Angie Torres, led investigators to where she dumped his car seat. Surveillance footage from a donation center shows Torres initially dropped the car seat at that site, but she later returned to pick up the car seat and take it to the area near the park. Still no sign of baby King J until last night. Less than a mile away from Davila's home, police found baby King J's body wrapped in a blanket inside of a black backpack. And
Well, we have breaking news from San Antonio, where an 8-month-old boy who had been missing since last Friday has been found dead. The father of King J. Davila led investigators to his son's body this morning. Police say the body was in a backpack beneath a bridge less than a mile from his home. Christopher Davila originally told police that his son had been kidnapped when his car was stolen from a gas station with the boy in the back seat. Surveillance video of the so-called kidnapping was released, but police later determined it was just a hoax and that the child had actually never been in the car. Investigators say Davila now claims that he'd been caring for King J. The child was in his car seat on top of a bed when Davila claims the car seat fell. He says the child hit his face on the way down and later died. Davila reportedly told police he was afraid to call 911. And now Davila, his mother, and a cousin are all facing charges.
And the investigation won't be finished until we can answer how exactly King J died, who knew it, and when they knew it.
The investigation into the death of King J. Davila is just beginning. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus not ruling out additional arrests.
But so far, police have arrested King J's father, Christopher Davila, his grandmother, Beatriz Sampaio, and cousin, Angie Torres.
Bill Barajas has been following the story for us all day. As he explains, police say Davila admitted to burying his son and led police to his body.
This open field has been occupied by police since late last night. Detectives swarmed the area led by King J's father, Christopher Davila. Investigators say Davila confessed to burying his baby boy here.
This wasn't the outcome we had hoped for. We're now working a death investigation. And let me stress that this is not the finish line. In fact, the hard part of the investigation is just beginning.
The infant's body was found in a backpack wrapped in a blanket. According to police, Davila initially tried to cover up his son's death by staging a car theft and kidnapping. The plan allegedly hashed out with the help of Davila's cousin, Angie Torres, and his mother, King J's paternal grandmother, Beatriz Sampaio.
He weakened and figured that he's just not going to get away with it. I mean, it seemed like a strong story in the beginning to him, but as the investigation continued, that story got weaker and weaker.
Police say he eventually came clean, claiming his son fell off the bed and landed face first on the floor while also maybe hitting his head on a dresser. Davila is facing several charges, including injury to a child causing serious bodily harm, omission, tampering with evidence, felony possession of a firearm, and possession with the intent to distribute. Sampaio and Torres are also both facing tampering with evidence charges. Chief McManus spoke about the case's impact on his officers and the Alamo City.
I think when you have any kind of child case involving harm to a child, it captures all of San Antonio's hearts. I mean, it shocks the conscience to think that someone could do this to an 8-month-old, let alone their own child.
And Davila is being held here at the Bexar County Jail. His total bond is over $1 million. And Police Chief William McManus says by the time this case is all said and done, there could be more arrests and more charges.
Meantime, new details in the Baby King case. The 2 women connected to that case have been targeted while in jail. One was jumped, another was spat at, according to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. The night team Sarah Costa tells us about the assaults.
Let's go ahead and have a moment of silence for the baby that has passed.
It's a story that has gripped the hearts of the San Antonio community over the past 2 weeks.
This is for you, King Jay.
The finding of a baby buried in a backpack less than a mile away from the home of the father, Christopher Davila. Davila led investigators to the site last week, and now 2 of the 3 people charged in connection with the disappearance of baby King Jay Davila have been targets of physical aggression in recent days while in custody at the Bexar County Jail. Angela Torres, Davila's cousin, and King Jay's grandmother, Beatriz Sampaio. Torres was already in custody on an unrelated charge when the sheriff's office says she was cornered and jumped in the bathroom by 3 female inmates on January 9th. She was officially charged in Baby King's case the next day. The sheriff's office says an inmate spat on Sampaio while she was being walked with a guard. Sampaio chose not to press charges. The sheriff's office says Angie Torres chose to be in general population rather than in protective custody before the assault, but has since been moved to protective custody. The extent of Torres' injuries are unclear. The 3 women who assaulted Torres are still under criminal investigation and haven't been officially charged, according to the sheriff's office. Baby King's grandmother and KRIS Davila remain in protective custody.
And Torres' bail is set at $300,000. And Sampaio, the grandmother, her bail is $250,000. And Christopher Davila, King Jay's father, his bail is set at $1.25 million. Steve, EC's.
Okay, turn right. Strong words outside the courtroom as 64-year-old Beatriz Sampaio made her initial pre-trial appearance. She's facing tampering with evidence charges in the case of 8-month-old baby King Jay Davila. His body was found buried in a backpack in January.
She's a manipulator. She always has been all our lives since we were kids.
Christopher Davila, who's married to the baby's mother, is facing injury to a child charges.
Christopher did whatever he did to the baby, and Beatriz helped him cover it up.
Davila's aunt, Angie Torres, was also in court for an initial appearance. Like Sampaio, she's facing tampering with evidence charges. Elizabeth Sampaio claims Torres was just caught up in what she says was her aunt's web of lies.
She wasn't involved in the crime. She didn't have anything to do with the baby.
Torres' lawyer wouldn't say whether there's been discussion of a plea deal yet.
Neither the state or I are in any position where we can discuss any type of agreement or what we're going to do with the case other than just further our investigations and come back and talk some more later.
A trial would not likely be set until late summer.
The baby King Jay case is also on tomorrow's docket. Christopher Davila will be here facing a raft of charges, including injury to a child.
A memorial is growing tonight at the spot where the body of baby King Jay Davila was found. You can see people have left hundreds of balloons, stuffed animals, candles, and crosses to remember the 8-month-old. Police say the baby's father, Christopher Davila, led them to that spot on the northeast side where he buried the body. The father and 2 other family members are facing charges. The investigation continues into exactly how the baby died.
The site where a baby's body was found in a backpack has grown into a memorial on the northeast side. Balloons, flowers, and stuffed animals have been left for an innocent child.
It is where KRIS Davila told police he buried his son, King Jay. Davila charged with serious bodily injury to a child, omission. Tonight, 2 nonprofits holding a balloon release in honor of 8-month-old King Jay.
The night team Sarah Costa spoke with those who hope the makeshift memorial sends a message to the community.
Father God, you see the tears, you see the hurt, you see the pain in our city.
It's time to heal. That was the message from organizers of tonight's balloon release in honor of baby King Jay Davila.
Father, I thank you for each and every heart that is here today.
Hundreds gathering in the field where police found the body of an infant on Friday. Those in attendance releasing dozens of lit balloons in honor of the child. Organizer Pamela Allen saying because of the rain on Friday's memorial, the nonprofits wanted to hold a balloon release in a place that she described as sacred. Allen says it's been amazing to see how the city has come together and hopes the community can be proactive.
We need to be able to raise our voices to make sure that if we suspect child abuse, that we say something.
Police accused Davila's father, Christopher Davila, and 2 other people of staging a kidnapping last Friday to cover up the baby's death. Right now, Davila remains in jail on several charges, including injury to a child, causing serious bodily injury omission. Police believe the child's body that was found is King J. Davila. However, the medical examiner is still conducting an autopsy of the body of the infant that was found in this field. We have not heard of any official funeral dates. However, we did get it confirmed from Davila's mother that it will be a private ceremony. Todd Patterson with Riders United for Children says he hopes tonight's gathering will bring some closure to the community.
This just feels like we're closer to King J.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
The Castle Ridge Funeral Home has volunteered to pay for the child's funeral, followed by a proper burial provided by the nonprofit Any Baby Can.
Well, new at 10, while the death investigation of baby King J. Davila continues, a local woman is honoring the baby with T-shirts. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos spoke to the artist about why she decided to do this. Henry.
Well, Phil, as a mother who, like many, are touched by this story, she says she had to do something. Jessica Perez is not here to make a cent off baby King's death. She wants others to feel a sense of peace with something as simple as a shirt.
She makes it look easy.
It does take a little bit longer.
Jessica Perez knows what she is doing. She works from home and is the owner of J&J Graphics.
I kind of make a little bit of everything.
She can do shoes and, the most popular, shirts.
I did these two.
Right now, she is tackling a project that is near and dear to her heart. She's printing T-shirts with photos of baby King J. Davila on them.
We are a community that we band together and we come together.
She posted on a private Facebook page created for baby King her desire to use her talents and make shirts with the 8-month-old's photo for at no cost.
We just always remember that there's still a lot of people in our city that are good people and that want to help each other.
The mother of 4 has made at least 150 shirts already. She is using 4 different designs made by various artists. Anyone can bring her a shirt. She will not charge you. All she asks is to cover her materials.
I didn't feel it was right to make money off of this case in particular. I know that if it was my child, I wouldn't want somebody to feel like, oh, let's go get rich off him. And so it just wasn't right.
She says San Antonio has adopted baby King as the son of the community. She says this is her way of giving back and letting others feel some type of peace.
Regardless of how terrible, whatever was done to him happened, that at least we know that he's in a better place and that, his adorable face can be seen and we can kind of take from that a sense of happiness and peace from it.
And if you would like a shirt, you can head to our website right now, kens5.com, for more information. By the way, memorial service has been set for baby King and the community is invited. The community memorial service will be Saturday, February 2nd at 11 a.m. at the Christian World Worship Center. Phil?
All right, Henry, thank you for that report.
Well, many of you have been searching and praying for King J, and you've been asking us a lot of questions online along the way, and we're listening, and we've been able to get at least some answers. Eyewitness News reporter Erica Zuko is live for us in the newsroom. And Erica, one of the questions people keep asking about is King J's brothers and sisters. What about them?
Well, Jeff, family members had told us that Christopher Davila does have other children, and so a lot of people have been wondering, how are they doing? Has anybody checked on them? Well, we reached out to Child Protective Services both earlier in the week and again today, and there's not a whole lot that they can legally release, but they said that they are working on getting us as much information as they can, and as soon as we have that, we'll of course share it in our later newscasts and at kens5.com. And we've also reached out to San Antonio Police about any potential calls for service in any of the homes that were associated with this case. We know that there were some Child Protective Services call-outs, as well as a call-out about a vehicle theft and one about a wanted person, but those, of course, were just incident call-outs. It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone was cited or charged with anything.
And Erica, people are also asking a lot of questions about the specifics of the timeline of this case. What about that?
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. And people want to know exactly when King J was initially hurt and then when he passed away. And we don't have a definite answer on that yet. An affidavit says on January 3rd, a witness had heard Christopher Davila and his mom talking on the phone about the baby being injured. So that would mean it was at least one day before that staged kidnapping happened. But police say the medical examiner is still investigating investigating, so we're going to have to wait until that is complete, and we might have a little bit more information then. And a lot of people's other questions have been about getting justice for baby King J. And Bexar County's new District Attorney Joe Gonzalez is, of course, the one to ask those questions to. So we're going to send it back to you, Jeff, and you have him here in the studio.
Well, that's right. Thank you, Eric.
Developing tonight, the siblings of baby King J. Davila have been removed from their grandparents' home. It comes 4 months after the 8-month-old boy died. Then his death was covered up by a fake kidnapping. Let's go live to Eyewitness News reporter Vanessa Croy. Vanessa, you've just learned Child Protective Services took the siblings today.
Well, that's right, Deb. CPS said they couldn't tell us anything about their investigation, but what they did tell us is that if children are removed from a home, it's only in the case that there is a real concern for imminent harm or danger. Now, according to an advocate for the family, the grandparents are the parents of baby King J's mother and took in the two boys a few months ago. This after Christopher Davila led detectives to the infant's body in January after Davila reported him missing. Investigators later learned Davila staged a kidnapping to cover up the infant's death. Davila's cousin and mother were also indicted on charges of tampering with evidence. Tonight, King's Angels are responding to the removal of baby King's siblings, saying, quote, "We watch these grandparents every single day, do everything in their power to love and provide for these children. CPS just ripped away children from a loving home, and CPS is failing our children." CPS told us there will be a hearing next week where CPS investigators will present their evidence and a judge will decide whether or not the children should stay in CPS custody. Deb?
The tragic death of baby King J. Davila has gripped this city and the country. But tonight, fake fundraising accounts are claiming to accept donations for the baby's burial. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos has a warning. Plus, he shows us where you can give money if you want to help.
Please, please, please.
Pamela Allen wants to warn you about what has been circulating online. GoFundMe pages are out there for the burial of King J. Davila. Check this one out. It was started 4 days ago and it is asking for $10,000. But Allen says don't give to them.
We don't need to have GoFundMe accounts.
She says Castle Ridge Funeral Home will pay for baby King's funeral. And Any Baby Can, a local nonprofit, has donated a site for him to be buried. She says the family is aware of the plans.
Oh, there's no reason for GoFundMe accounts to start. There's no reason for people to be standing out with his picture trying to collect money.
Allen, the CEO of Eagles Flight, says people instead should give to nonprofits who are trying to raise a voice against child abuse.
Please be careful.
At last check, there is no date set for baby King's funeral. A GoFundMe spokesperson tells KENS 5 they have zero tolerance policy for misuse, and its safety team is looking into the baby King GoFundMe page. Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
We checked for an update tonight on the investigation into baby King J's death. So far, no new charges have been filed. The baby's father, grandmother, and second cousin are still in custody tonight, awaiting court dates.
Ms. Sampaio, do you have anything to say? Señora Sampaio, ¿tiene algo que decir?
No. Gracias.
Significant bond reduction for a woman facing charges in the death of baby King J. Davila.
Bond for Angie Torres, the infant's aunt, was originally set at $250,000. Paul Venema was in court today as the judge dropped it to $75,000.
Angie Torres has been in jail in lieu of a $250,000 bail since January after the body of 8-month-old King J. Davila was found in a backpack buried in a shallow grave. She allegedly took part in a bogus kidnapping and stolen car scheme involving Christopher Davila, who claimed he was the infant's father. Davila, who is Torres' cousin, is facing injury to a child charges in the infant's death.
I know she can get on her feet. I believe in her.
Torres' mother, in court asking for a bond reduction, testified that she could not post the high bail.
I asked family. I don't have any assets to sell or pawn or anything like that.
Torres' sister, too, testified that she couldn't post bond, but promised to help in other ways.
Take her wherever she needs to go, be there for her emotionally, in every aspect.
Following the women's testimony, the ruling.
The bond is reduced to $75,000 with global positioning, full house arrest.
Torres also has a $50,000 bond in a separate aggravated assault case. It remains in place.
Torres' trial, absent a plea deal, is not likely to get underway until later this summer, probably not until mid-August.
Back here at home, new developments in the case of baby King J. Davila. A judge has reduced the bond for a relative of the child for her alleged role in his death. Angie Torres, the cousin of King J's father, remains behind bars, but her bond is now at $75,000. She's been in jail since January on an evidence tampering charge. Investigators say she concealed the baby's car seat after King J was reported missing and helped stage his kidnapping. The baby's father, Christopher Davila, later led police to where he buried him in a backpack. Davila claims King died after falling out of his car seat.
Two women police believe helped stage a kidnapping to cover up an infant's death made an appearance in court today. Beatrice Sampaio and Angie Torres were both indicted on a tampering with evidence charge in the death investigation of baby King J. Davila. Eyewitness News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry was in the courtroom today with relatives who say this case has left the family divided.
Angie Torres, custody, right? Beatrice Sampaio.
Angie Torres and Beatrice Sampaio may have been on today's roll call list in court, but they'd never face a judge. The two both made brief appearances in the courtroom before leaving for the day. Angie Torres' attorney says today's court appearance was procedural and allowed him to hand over a significant amount of evidence to the state.
It's the first setting on the trial docket, which gives us a chance to talk, see where we're going.
And though little action took place inside the courtroom,
she's a manipulator.
The same could not be said just feet away.
She always has been all our lives since we were kids.
Elizabeth Sampaio says she's talking about her aunt Beatrice, whom she believes was the mastermind behind the staged kidnapping.
Christopher called his mom. His mom was the one who concocted the whole idea. You think about it logically, Angie had nothing to gain from helping in this crime. Christopher did. It was his son. Beatriz did. It was her son. But Angie didn't. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and in the wrong state of mind, to be honest. When her son called her, she should have stopped it right there and called the cops.
Beatrice remains out on bail while Angie's attorney fights for a bond reduction to bail out as well. In the meantime, Elizabeth says the family is trying hard to keep it together in a case that has tested them all.
We're a unit. We all do stupid stuff, and we've all gotten through and forgiven each other for it, but this is different.
Jaleesa Irizarry, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Torres' attorney says they do not expect to be back in court until August. He cannot tell KENS 5 if any plea agreements would be made. Chris Davila, the man who claimed to be the father of the baby, will make a court appearance tomorrow.
We have an update now on the death of baby King J. Davila. The medical examiner reports the 8-month-old baby died from blunt force trauma and is calling his death a homicide. The baby disappeared on January 4th. Baby King J's father claimed at the time the boy was kidnapped, but police quickly chipped away at that false story. The baby was later found dead in a backpack. SAPD says that case is still under investigation today. Meanwhile, a community memorial is planned for baby King J tomorrow. Organizers say it's to help heal the community. It's at 11 a.m. at the Christian World Worship Center. That'll be on Walsham. A flower planting ceremony will follow.
It was just over 1 week ago that investigators made a discovery that broke the hearts of so many in our community. 8-month-old baby King J. Davila was found buried in a backpack after San Antonio police say his own father led authorities to the child's body. The week-long search for the baby captivated San Antonio. On January 4th, King J's father, Christopher Davila, reported the child was kidnapped when Davila's car was stolen outside a West Side gas station. The car was left running and the driver's side door unlocked. Surveillance video showed a woman, who police later identified as Davila's cousin, Angie Torres, walking up to the car and driving away. Davila was arrested on the 4th on child endangerment charges. On January 7th, Police Chief William McManus said the reported kidnapping was staged and baby King was never in that car. On January 10th, McManus revealed that investigators believed the 8-month-old was dead. His father, Christopher Davila, his grandmother, Beatriz Sampaio, and Davila's cousin, Angie Torres, were charged, all for allegedly taking part in the staged kidnapping. That night, investigators say Davila led them to his baby's body, buried in a field near his home. According to police, Davila said baby King J fell off of a bed and hit his head. Davila told investigators he was too scared to call 911. Charges against him were upgraded.
This has definitely been a very emotional roller coaster, hitting on every horrible emotion that you could possibly have: sadness, frustration. This has affected, people who want to be parents one day. This has affected people who are parents. This has affected those who are around children a lot. This has affected everyone in this entire realm of knowing about this investigation and knowing about King J. Davila. One of the biggest questions that many people are asking and wondering, is where is the mom, in this case? Because in the beginning, when everything was unfolding or starting to unfold, we heard, was easy contact with the family. But now, and I remember speaking with a family member during the big search, they had been instructed not to say anything to us and had been instructed to keep it very tight-lipped as this investigation continues. His story represents the several stories out there in this nation where children are not heard, where children are unfortunately taken away too soon. And San Antonio has rocked this world by spreading awareness and by repping King J. Davila as a way to show this entire nation how important it is to protect our babies. Even in the darkest, most horrific situations, they show up and show out even stronger together, united together for King J. Words can't express how proud I am of our police department, or how proud I am of our detectives for working countless hours. As this investigation continues, justice is being served for King J. Davila. And as it goes on into the future, until it's over, justice will be served.
Well, that's right. Thank you, Erica. And thank you, Mr. District Attorney, for joining us today. We are glad to have you here. I know it's been a busy day for you.
It has. Thank you for having me.
Well, absolutely. And this is the first major case that you've been able to work with the San Antonio Police Department, so I know there's a lot involved in that process. And so many people have said that, they're interested in this case and they want to see justice for the baby, for the victim here. And of course, the chief said this is not the end, but just the beginning. But what happens now specifically to the father, Christopher Davila?
Well, let me first say that the San Antonio Police Department and Chief McManus and his team did an incredible job investigating it. I said this morning this was a textbook investigation, and what happens now is Mr. Davila has been charged with several offenses, the most important of which is injury to a child causing serious bodily injury or death by act or omission. That is a first-degree offense. The penalty ranges from 5 to 99 years or life. The bond on that case is $500,000.
And are more charges likely to be added for him?
Well, it may be. That's not the only charge. He's also charged He's facing a charge of felon in possession of a weapon because he's got prior conviction. He's also charged with possession of a controlled substance as well as tampering with evidence. So his bonds total over $1 million. Today, the child is undergoing an autopsy, and pending the results of the autopsy, this case could be upgraded to something more serious than injury to a child.
And what about, there are 2 other people being charged now as well, correct? 2 other family members? Are there other charges likely for them?
Well, we know that there is the mother of Mr. Davila. She's being charged with tampering with evidence as well. There may likely be more charges for other individuals, but so far those are the ones that we've had focused on in the last 48 hours.
So charges for 2 people so far?
Correct.
Okay. And how long could, you mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, how long could Davila go to prison?
He could go to prison for up to life. 99 years or life is the top range of a first-degree offense.
So not the death penalty in this case as it stands?
That's correct, as it stands.
Could that change?
Potentially. What would make this a capital murder charge is the age of the victim. And so we would have to make a decision to seek death, but it's too early to tell whether or not that's appropriate in this case.
And is it possible, as far as you know at this point, that more people could be arrested?
Sure. If we find that the investigation uncovers other participants, other actors, we could certainly charge them. It's important to note that this investigation is not over with. While the San Antonio Police Department has been working diligently, they're not done yet. And so we'll have to wait here in the District Attorney's Office until they submit their final report to us before deciding whom to charge and with what offense.
All right. Well, District Attorney Joe Gonzalez, thank you once again for your time. We appreciate you coming in on such a busy day.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Weeks after King J. Davila's body was recovered from the northeast side of town, a memorial and procession were held in his honor this morning.
This comes a day after the Bexar County medical examiner determined King J's death was a homicide caused by blunt force injuries. The Night Team's Japhanie Gray tells us while many are still in mourning, they feel comforted by the thought of him being in a better place.
You know, these past 2 weeks have been kind of rough because people have been saying that we should not be doing or going forward with this because the mother didn't agree. However, there's a grandmother and siblings grieving. You know, and I asked God, please give me a sign.
That sign was right here, a dove landing on the bridge after being released during King J. Davila's memorial service held at the location his body was found.
Everybody just lost their breath. I mean, who can understand what just happened?
Executive Director of Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach, Pamela Allen, spoke during a church service being held in his honor at Christian World Worship Center.
A time of war and a time of peace. This is definitely our time to speak up.
She, along with several others, spoke words of encouragement, hope, and their experience throughout this case, including Jasmine McGill.
That little face and his story, it pushed me.
She's worked closely with the family since the beginning of King J's death investigation.
I have a little boy at home, and his 3rd birthday was the day that they actually found King's body, and that was devastating for me. Something about King's case just really, really touched me. Something physically tugged at my heart and led me here.
As family, friends, and even strangers gathered at King J's burial site, McGill says the family is doing okay now that they have closure.
He's in Jesus' arms, and that, to me, it feels like he's here saying it's okay.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
The San Antonio man accused of staging a kidnapping to cover up his son's death wants his bond reduced. KRIS Davila faces charges in connection to the death of baby King J. Davila. Authorities say Davila led detectives to the infant's body after attempting to cover up the baby's death. And as Eyewitness News reporter Jalisa Irizarry explains, one group is battling to keep him behind bars.
It's been months since the life of a young boy ended. But for Jasmine McGill,
we're called to do this.
The journey has just begun.
This is San Antonio's baby, and he needs justice.
McGill, alongside her vice president Denise Santana, created King's Angels, a nonprofit named after baby King J, an 8-month-old whose body was found buried in a field. KRIS Davila, his grandmother, and his second cousin have all been arrested in connection to covering up baby King's death. Davila faces a number of charges, including injury to a child, which he's currently being held on a $500,000 bond. Earlier this month, he filed an application for a bond reduction. Court documents show Davila's attorney stated the bond was, quote, excessive, oppressive, and beyond Davila's financial means.
I don't think that he deserves freedom. I feel like he's a flight risk. I feel like he's a danger to other people.
King's Angels took those concerns to the public, creating a change.org petition against the bond reduction. So far, nearly 1,500 people have signed it.
I think that speaks volumes because it is the people. It is San Antonio. It's our voice that matters.
A voice McGill says they won't lose anytime soon as they prepare for an upcoming vigil scheduled in honor of baby King's birthday. They have but one message for KRIS Davila.
I wish no ill upon him, but I do wish that he serves justice the right way.
Jalisa Irizarry, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Now, as a way for King's family to mourn privately on his birthday, King's Angels will host a vigil the day after. That candlelight vigil will take place on Friday, April 12th at King J's Memorial, located on Castle Lance.
Now at 6'5", young brothers of baby King J. Davila are going home with their grandparents after a family judge delivers a stinging rebuke to Child Protective Services. The state removed the children from the only home they've ever known just a week ago, citing concerns for safety after King J died in January. Eyewitness News reporter Sue Kalberg was in the court for the emotional, complicated case where the judge said the children should not have been taken into custody.
My findings are that there was no reason to remove from the grandparents.
Judge Richard Garcia listened to pleas from the state and the attorneys for the boys' grandparents, fathers, and mother.
It's our request, Judge, that you order this caseworker in Stanter to pick up those children, return to the grandparents, in my estimation, for the 12 o'clock hour.
The state tried to establish a pattern of abuse and neglect.
The healing fracture
in the deceased child.
The family argued the boys were safe with grandparents Maria Morales and Fernando Yee. The judge sided with the grandparents.
It's in the best interest that I place these children with the grandparents today.
Muy alegre? Sí. There were hugs and tears of joy in the hallway for family and friends.
We're ready. We're ready for him.
Advocates who've been helping the family since baby King J. Davila was found buried in a northeast San Antonio field say the community has rallied to provide a safe haven for the children.
And hearing the screams in the background and children being taken and no explanation as to why, it was so frustrating that day.
Garcia also ordered everyone to return to court with a status update June 14th. Sue Kalberg, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
And an update on the man charged in connection with King J's death. He's due back in court in less than 2 weeks. Tonight, Christopher Davila remains in jail on charges of injury to a child and hiding King J's body. Davila's mother and cousin are accused of staging a kidnapping to cover up King J's death. Only Angie Torres remains in jail. She's also due in court next month.
News: the San Antonio father accused in the death of his 8-month-old son, then staging a kidnapping to cover it up, is expected in court later today.
And right now, Charlie Cooper is joining us live from the Bexar County Courthouse with more on the investigation into King J. Davila's death. Charlie, good morning. What are the latest developments there?
Yeah, good morning. Well, Christopher Davila, the father of that 8-month-old child, is expected here at the Bexar County Courthouse this morning for a pretrial hearing. Now, this comes only months after, or a little over a month after, he is said to have staged his 8-month-old's kidnapping in order to cover up what police believe was foul play. Now, he initially told police that his car had been stolen with the child inside of it. But when police found that car, the baby wasn't inside. And police continued to investigate for days. They began to doubt the kidnapping story and said they believe the baby was a victim of foul play. Now, police spent days searching for the child before Christopher finally led them to the baby's body in an open field on the northeast side. According to investigators, Davila claims the day the child died, he was playing video games while King was in his car seat on the end of a bed. The baby fell face forward, is what he told police, on the ground, hitting a dresser on the way down. And Davila said he was too scared to call the police, and so he decided to bury King in a nearby field, an open field. Now, police believe the child's paternal grandmother, Beatrice Sampaio, and second cousin, Angie Torres, helped Christopher cover up what happened. And now they're all facing charges for injury to a child and serious bodily injury. Barry and Sarah.
We have new information in the baby King J case. During a bail reduction hearing for Christopher Davila, who is facing charges in the case, the child's mother testified that Davila is not the father.
Paul Venema takes us to that hearing during which the judge denied Davila's request that his $1.2 million bail be lowered.
Christopher Davila has been jailed since the body of 8-month-old King J. Davila was found buried in a shallow grave in January. He's facing charges of injury to a child, serious bodily injury by omission, and tampering with evidence. In January, Davila claimed that the child was in his car when it was stolen. He later admitted burying the body after he said the child was injured accidentally at the home he shared with the child's mother. Though the child bears Davila's name, she made a surprising revelation during the hearing.
The defendant is not the father of King J, correct? No. And the child that you are pregnant with now, is he the father or somebody else the father? He is the father.
She testified that her family and Davila's family are not able to afford his current bond. She asked that it be lowered, promising that Davila will show up for any subsequent hearings.
For him now, from what I know him, I know for sure that he will appear to court because he's not the same person that he was before.
Following the 30-minute hearing, Judge Andy Carruthers had his ruling.
I deny bond reduction on all of the cases.
As he asked for the bail reduction, Davila's lawyer blamed the police chief and the DA's office for the high bail and the media for excessive coverage. Paul Venema, KSAT 12 News.
He says he's praying for justice. Tonight, the biological father of baby King J. Davila, Martin Gonzalez, is speaking from prison after the death of his 8-month-old son.
The infant's body was found buried in a shallow grave back in January. Martin Gonzalez discussed his heartbreak with our Paul Venema.
Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from my little king.
Martin Gonzalez penned this song dedicated to his son while he was in prison. He was there doing time for aggravated assault and drug charges when he learned that his 8-month-old son, King J. Davila, was dead. The child was living with Gonzalez's estranged wife, Jasmine, and Christopher Davila in January when he died. Davila initially told police that the child was in his car when it was stolen. He would later admit that he buried the baby in a shallow grave. He said baby King J suffered fatal injuries when he fell from a bed.
It was just hard. It was hard. I started crying.
Choking back tears, Gonzalez said he was devastated when he heard that his son was dead.
I don't know what I would have done out there if I was out there. I'm locked in a cage.
While he was in that cage, his estranged wife was in court. Her lover, Christopher Davila, is charged with injury to a child and was seeking a bond reduction. During the hearing, Jasmine Gonzalez made a surprising revelation.
The defendant is not the father of King J, correct?
No.
She knew in her heart that that was my son. I knew that was my son. Nobody had to tell me. Nobody, I just knew. For somebody to take your son from you, and it's kind of hard, man. Even though I never met my son, I love him. It's my son.
Love, he told me, is not a word that comes to mind when he talks about his son's mother.
I don't want no contact with her. I still can't forgive her yet. Not yet.
Gonzalez is praying for justice and crying.
Teardrops falling down my eyes, just wishing this could be a dream. That was made from pain. That was made from pain, though.
Back in San Antonio, prosecutors say they have little interest in the paternity issue. Their main concern, they tell me, justice for baby King J. In Palestine, Paul Vedema, KSAT 12 News.
I made it for him. It was during, the first verse was during when I was clueless about anything, when I first got the first letter. The second verse is when I found the article of Christopher Davila burying my son in a backpack. The third one is when I got this newspaper about everything that's going on right now. So they're all separate verses that tells the story of King J.
Like a ballad of King J.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, since they say since I guess they say I'm a gang member, a gangster.
Are you?
So I made the hook like a gangster crying. That's it. Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from a real G, teardrops falling down my eyes made it hard for me to see. Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from my little king, teardrops falling down my eyes, just wishing this could be a dream. You were an angel from the start, a blessing from the Lord. I can't believe the I'm hearing. It really breaks my heart. Just knowing I wasn't there for you is tearing me apart. There was so much broken promises, they left me in the dark. Now I'm looking to the stars, wondering where you are. You were just my baby boy, so innocent in life, that ignorant didn't have to take your life, and then he tried to hide your body. I hope they make this right, because if the law don't give you justice, best believe I'm gonna ride. But I'm stuck up in this prison, try not to lose my mind, because just the other day it was road to homicide in San Antonio, Texas. My little King J, little do they know, when they take my DNA, the truth will come to light. They won't feel this kind of pain. Tears fall down my eyes. Man, I feel betrayed. But I wipe these tears away, because you promised to love my children each and every day. But you chose to let this happen when you gave them that last name. Upset with those decisions, I can't even feel my face. Tears fall down my eyes. I love you, King J. Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from a real G. Teardrops falling down my eyes made it hard for me to see. Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from my little king. Teardrops falling down my eyes, just wishing this could be a dream. You were innocent, just a little baby. You didn't deserve the pain in this world so crazy. But I see the truth, I see it on the daily. When I heard the news, I've been crying lately. Just to know the fact, I would never know you. Got me feeling sad, cause I could never hold you. I lost I lost a part of me. I'm trying not to lose my cool. So I said, I lost a part of me. I'm trying not to lose my cool. No apology will never ever bring you back. I was the one that was really supposed to be your dad, not the coward that put you in a backpack. I can't imagine what kind of person could even do that. Please, God, can you help me now that I'm on my knees? I want the world to know I want my son to rest in peace. My heart hurt, got these tears falling down my cheeks. I love you, King, made it hard to maintain for a G. Teardrops from a gangster, teardrops from a real G, teardrops falling down my eyes. Yeah, it goes like that. The last verse is like, I said, while they living in deceit, I said, while they living in deceit, I know they keep on lying on me. The truth can never be defeated. Now they know King was my seed. I said, now they know King was my seed. I'm gonna stand up for my baby because his true love lies in me. Real recognize real, and I know your stories are make-believe. This one goes out to your lawyer. How can you say that was the right thing? Trying to justify your actions while you're trying to play with King. I said, I want a responsibility, but you took that away from me because I was locked behind them walls. It's just also plain to see. But I'm a speaker for my son that I would never get to meet. He was faultless in this world. If you love him, why you beat him? And I think about my kids, wondering if you wouldn't mistreat them. I'm a fight till they give you life because you don't deserve this freedom. Forgive me, Father God. I know my son is in your kingdom, but I wish this wasn't true and I wake up because I'm dreaming. I said, I still haven't memorized it that well, but.
You said teardrops from a gangster, which is kind of acknowledging who you are and where you are, and you're okay with that. Well,
I guess that's what my past is. That's what my past is. I was this. That's where he gets his name from. Mm-hmm. And this is the story of what happened to him. I'm working on other ones.
You put a lot into that.
That was made from pain. That was made from pain, that one.